In this video, we are going to talk about the anatomy of a application. How does the front end of an application work? And how does the back end REST API support the application? Using Interplay, you have the ability to build front end UX experiences or screens, as well as you have the ability to build back end REST APIs and provide very complex functionality using the five forces of innovation: AI, IoT, data, blockchain, and APIs from startups. So we're going to quickly dive in and take a walkthrough. This is a very simple illustration of how a front end and a back end work together. So in the front end, you can see your application runs inside a browser, assuming it's a web app. If it's an iOS app, it runs inside your iOS, inside your iPhone as an application, right? Or inside your watch, or on your ring, or whatever the latest IoT device you can find. So now, the front end typically is built with JavaScript, web technologies, or iOS, or any device-specific type of capability. The typical front ends do have an interface where one can interact, and it will have UI components one can interact with. Every user interaction will make a backend call to the backend systems, right? The backends typically run in data centers. In these days, they do run in clouds, the AWS, the Amazon, the Google, GCP, as well as Microsoft Azure clouds. And there are other smaller cloud providers as well. And in the backend, it could run on top of physical servers. On top of the servers, you have containers. And on top of the containers, you have applications, either built in Node.js. In our case, our application middleware is Interplay. So you can build an application using Interplay, and Interplay can run your application. So this is a very simple architecture or a diagram that shows how a front-end application and a back-end application communicate. They typically communicate via making something called a REST call. In the previous video, we saw how to build a REST API, right? Let's go to Interplay Spirit for a minute here. So you can see, like, if you were to build a backend REST API, a REST API is nothing else but a piece of component that performs a job or a task that you requested it to do, right? So here we've just built a very simple REST API called user, and when you click on user, it'll just simply send you information or a piece of text on my information about the website, my last name, my first name, and so on, user information, right? But this is very simple. I mean, it can be far more complicated, right? So if a front end were to call this, it would just invoke this API, right? At the same time, in the last video, we also learned a little bit about building applications, right? Full-fledged applications using Interplay. So here, if you use the page builder component, you have the ability to pick up any form of template. You can drag and drop that template, and you can add a user action. In this case, when they click on a button, you can wire that button up, right, into some kind of an action, and then you can write backend functions to handle all kinds of actions, and you can write backend code. Because Interplay runs in the backend, right, it has the ability to render front-end code in your browser, and then the remaining backend is all executed using Interplay. The example that I just kind of flashed by you is a very simple example, right? Is you put in a form page and you're processing that form page using Interplay. But you can also build very complicated, very large-scale enterprise apps, right? So this is an example of an enterprise app. It's a commerce application deployed in production, where you can go and order and select retail products, and you can order, or you can have them picked up in the store or deliver them to your home, right? So this is a full-fledged application, right? A very large application with thousands and thousands of different types of functionality. So when you go back into Interplay, you can see an application like this is supported through several forms of backend REST APIs. and based on the functions or the capabilities that these APIs do, they are segmented. In this case, this is a set of API that allows the user to register, so it pulls customer information. This is another API, a set of backend APIs that gives you products. When you go to a page, it allows you to browse products, right? So that's another set of API through backend, right? If you run campaigns, this allows you to do campaign. So for example, if you were to select a product, in this case it's because we have alcoholic products, it's asking for age restrictions. So if I select a year, let's say 1972, that should take care of it. Okay, so if I select a given product, you go into the product page and I can check availability and I can select whether I want to pick up or delivery, right? So when you click on product information, that will come from the products database or the product REST APIs. Once you add that product to a cart, this will get invoked and so on. As you can see, every component of the application, every action that you do has an equal and corresponding backend. So this is how the anatomy of a front end and a back end they work together in a succinct manner. Thank you.